Go ahead and stand. We're going to come to standing today to begin. Oh shoot, I totally forgot my blocks, but grab your blocks and I'll just tell you when to use them. But go ahead and find a nice, just like solid Tadasana stance. So feet like at least hip disc, maybe even a little bit wider. And just take your shoulders up by your ears, roll them down your back, give your arms a little shake, relax your fingers, and then just find stillness. Close your eyes. Take a nice big breath through your nose. Big exhale through your mouth. And then one more like that. Deep breath in. Big exhale out. And if that feels good, you can keep going. Sometimes we need a couple deep breaths. Otherwise, just bring your lips to a close and breathe in and out through your mouth. Through your nose, excuse me. And you can allow the breath to just deepen slightly. So it's just slightly deeper than your average breath. Beginning to fill up through your lower belly and then feel the inhale move up through your side ribs and your chest. And beginning to exhale completely. Just continue with that breath for a little bit. And today I wanted to just share with you, this friend of a friend had actually reached out to me recently, and this was just so applicable to everyone who's pregnant, even if you're not uncomfortable, and everyone that experiences being a parent. But basically she's like in this space of really just sort of struggling. She's finding that she feels a little bit resentful. She's just had a really, really tough first trimester and she's having trouble connecting with her baby and she's feeling pretty depressed, and she just was sort of asking if I had any advice. And other than just like a couple small physical or meditative stuff that she might be able to do, I just told her that the biggest thing that helped me throughout my pregnancy and labor and like any moment of struggle after Odin was born was just his trust, right? So like this journey of being pregnant can feel really isolating sometimes. And I think what's important to remember is that we have this journey, right? And it's ours and ours alone. Like every decision you make, everything that you do while you're pregnant, everything that you practice, everything that you research, that's all on you. But we don't have to walk it alone, right? There's so many people who have done this before us and that are going through it with us or at the same time. And we just have to trust them. If you talk to any mom, I would say 99.9999% of moms will say it's 100% worth it. Right? And everyone gets through it. Everyone that you will talk to about their labor experience somehow got through it, right? No matter how tough it was. And no matter how tough their pregnancy was, they got through it. And they'll still say it's worth it, and they'll still say I'd do it again. And so that's really what, just a really important message to remember is that we're not alone. You're never alone in this journey, and there's people you can reach out to or just bring to mind when you're feeling like you're really struggling or you're in a harder place or you feel like you can't move forward. If that's maybe labor, there was literally a moment in labor when I just hit a point where I didn't think I could do this anymore, and that's when I thought of my mom, I thought of my aunts, I thought of literally Lady Bridgerton, who is a fictional character but represents a lot of women, right, who didn't even have the medical resources we did. There was so much unknown, so much fear, and yet they did it. All of those women did it, and you can too. Okay. Let's go ahead and roll the shoulders up and back, taking one more deep breath in through the nose. Go ahead and let it go through your mouth once more. Okay. And then from here, reach out and down through your fingertips, and then just stretch your arms all the way up overhead. And as you exhale, land your fingertips on the tops of your shoulders. And you'll just start to make nice big circles with your elbows, so as big as you can. Taking those elbows back as far as you can, and also shifting them forward, spreading the shoulder blades on your back. Just drawing nice big circles. And continue a nice deep breath in your side ribs. Feel your low belly expand as you inhale, and just gently hug baby in as you exhale. Go ahead and switch the direction of your elbows. Good. Take one more. And with your next exhale, just round your whole spine down into a forward fold, releasing your hands at the bottom of the fold. You can go ahead and shake out your head and neck. And maybe take your hands to blocks if you need a little bit of support here. Go ahead and inhale, halfway lift, widen your feet just a little bit wider. And as you exhale, put a big bend in your knees and bow forward. Good. Relax your head all the way until your neck is just hanging, an extension of your spine. And then inhale, halfway lift once again, squeezing the shoulder blades. Exhale, forward fold once more, bending the knees. Let your spine hang from the hips. Okay, this time you'll inhale, halfway lift. And go ahead and put a big bend in your right knee. Take your right hand down underneath your right shoulder and just bring your left arm all the way up towards the sky, gently pressing your left hip bone back. Then pull your chest forward as you breathe in, and exhale, pull the head of your left shoulder back a little bit more. Good. Big inhale. Big exhale. As you inhale, slowly unwind, halfway lift. And exhale, bend both knees, bow forward. Breath in, halfway lift and lengthen. Ground your left hand, put a deep bend in your left knee, send your right hip back and take your right arm up. Then again, pull your chest forward, and as you exhale, pull the right shoulder back. And press your right hip bone back as you draw your chest forward again, broadening through the collarbones. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And inhale, slowly release. Halfway lift one more time. And this time, just go ahead and plant your hands. Step back into your downward dog. And you can just pedal out your legs here, kind of shaking your hips, sway your head side to side. Say hello to just your calves, your hamstrings, whatever you're feeling, maybe your chest. And then go ahead and slowly lower your knees down to the ground. And we'll take a couple just cat neutrals here. So remember, we don't want to take any big bends in the back, in that low back area. So you're sort of finding a neutral spine. And just press your thighs back. And then pull your hands towards your knees as you pull your chest forward. Maybe lift up through the back of your head, gazing towards the top of your mat. And then as you exhale, round your spine. So really press the ground away. Tailbone comes down. Lift baby up. Good. Inhale as you send your thighs back. Soften your chest down and forward. And exhale, round your spine. Good. Again, inhale. And exhale. Coming back to a neutral spine. Take your knees a little bit wider, and you can tuck your toes under for this or keep them untucked, totally up to you. We're just going to press our hips back towards child's pose, and then shift your hips forward towards all fours. Okay, so just moving forwards and backwards, saying hello to our hip joints. You can bring your hips even further forward in your sort of like a modified plank almost. You lean forward into your hands more. Just saying hello to the hips. So I said this last class, but when you open the thighs, so externally rotating the thighs, we make more space for the baby to move down. So in labor, in the early stages of labor, this is a really good exercise to do just to get baby, just help baby to move down. And then towards the end of labor, we'll turn the knees the opposite direction, which we can do now. So come back up towards all fours. Take your knees back underneath your hips, and then take your feet a little bit wider than your mat. And then from here, you'll stick your butt back. Obviously, we're not going to sit back all the way here. It's not good for your knees. Just lean back a little bit. And what happens is our sacrum sort of widens, and then you can come forward again. So there's an internal rotation of the thighs now, and that's what's going to open up the bottom of your sacrum. So when you're actually trying to push the baby out, you want a really slight internal rotation like this. So if you're on all fours, which a lot of people end up there, you can literally take this stance and sort of just rock back and forth while you're in labor and just help get baby's head out. It's freaking crazy. Take one more. Awesome. And then go ahead and come back into neutral. Take those feet directly behind the knees, knees under hips again. Tuck your toes under this time. So just find a neutral spine, take a breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to push down into your hands, really root down through your knuckles, your big base knuckles, the ones at the tops of your palms and the base of your fingers. And then just hover your knees off of the mat for a moment, lifting baby in and up. And then inhale, drop the knees slowly down, really softly, come back to a neutral spine. Exhale, pick baby up, float the knees. Again, inhale, lower down, nice and softly. Exhale, float the knees. Inhale, lower softly. Exhale, float, two more. Imagine that you're squeezing something between your forearms and your inner thighs. Inhale, lower. Exhale, squeeze. So your forearms hug in towards each other, inner thighs draw in towards each other. This time, inhale, lower the knees, keep the toes tucked. And exhale, just press back into your down dog. And taking a moment here, root down and through your fingertips, really press through those arm bones, lengthening through your side body, out through the hips and then down through your heels. Then take your right leg up and go ahead and bend your knee and just make nice big circles with that right knee in the sky. So again, just making some space in the hip. Keep the left heel nice and soft. Take the right knee the opposite direction. Pressing equally into both hands. Good. Now extend your right leg up tall. Deep breath in, get long. As you breathe out, step your right hand or right foot outside your right hand. Just pause here. Come up to your fingertips or your blocks. Squeeze those inner thighs in towards each other. Firm up this back leg. Lengthen through the crown of your head. As you breathe in, work towards straightening the right leg, so lifting the hips up, softening the back heel down, and then slowly bend the right knee again, lowering the hips back down. So inhale, lift, pull the chest forward, keeping a nice flat spine. Exhale, bend. One more time, inhale, and exhale. Good. From here, you might need, if your stance got a little bit long, you can always slide your right foot in a little bit. We're going to come up to a high lunge. So if you want, you can take your hands to that right thigh, just sort of find your balance, and then make your way up. And let's go ahead and take our hands to our hips for a moment. Really work towards drawing that right hip bone back. If you're feeling any weirdness in your pubic bone area or sacrum, you can always shorten your stance a little bit more. And we're going to start our glute work, okay? So I want you to really pull that right hip back, pressing into the right heel especially. We'll bend our back knee as you stretch your left arm up towards the ceiling. You can take a little side bend towards the right, so getting a little stretch that left side. And then slowly make your way back up. Exhale, left hand to hip, straighten through the back thigh. Inhale, we open. Lower the back knees, reach. Exhale, hand to hip. So you're squeezing your inner thighs together as you do so. Again, if you have any weirdness in the pelvic area, little bend in the knee. You don't have to go down all the way, right? Let's take 2 more. Good. Really reaching through that top hand. Keep the outer left hip moving forward. Nice. This time, keep the back knee bent. Reach both arms up. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna bend the back knee a little bit deeper. As you exhale, lean forward over the right thigh, send your arms back. Keep pulling the right hip back. Your legs should be getting a little bit tired, that's good. Inhale, we bend the back knee, reach up. Exhale, lean forward. Keep pulling the right hip back. Lift your pinkies up, firing up your triceps. And then again, bend and lift. Back knee straightens. We lean forward. Fire up the back muscles. Bend and reach your arms up. Reach your head forward. Pinkies lift behind you. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Keep the back leg as it is. Reach your arms up. Crescent lunge. And then we're going to lower that back heel to the ground and find a wide-legged goddess squat. So you're going to just sort of pivot your legs so that both heels are in, your toes are pointed out, arms come straight out, and then bend your knees. Okay, so find a place that's sustainable. I want you to squeeze these outer glutes, your glute medians, so that you can wrap your thighs back. And you should right away sort of feel the sides of your butt cheeks fire up. And then maybe you sit a little bit deeper. Every pregnant body is different, so you might need to be up here today. You might be all the way down here. Doesn't matter to me, just do what feels good for you. And then hug your feet in towards each other, lift up through your pelvic floor, and stay. Yeah, and just take a moment to maybe shift side to side, move your fingertips, relax your face, and fire up your breath. Okay, so this is sort of one of those moments where we're going to feel a little bit challenged, right? And the idea is that we just have to trust that we can do it. So many people before us have done it. Maybe you can sink in a little bit more. So normally the second we feel like something uncomfortable or intense sensation, we like run the opposite direction. But if you choose to stay, you'll notice that things start to shift, right? You overcome and the sensation will move. It's not going to go away, but it might move. And can you turn your focus to the tops of your shoulders and just soften them down a little bit more? Deep breath in through your nose. Relax your mouth as you exhale. Sit a little bit deeper. Stay for 3 more breaths. Keep hugging those inner thighs towards each other, externally rotating the thighs. Lift your heart, drop the shoulders. Big inhale. Maybe sit lower as you exhale. Good. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach up, point your toes forward, and exhale, fold. Nice job. Relax the top of your head. Sway yourself side to side. Your hands can come to blocks if that feels better for you. Good, and just start to really sort of flush this out a little bit in the legs. So just start to bend your knees one at a time, taking your body towards one side and then the other. Noticing those inner thigh muscles. Take one more breath in. Breath out. Good. Make your way back to center. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine. And exhale, forward fold. We'll just hold this for just a few breaths. So again, hands to blocks. You can always stay in a flat back if you find that your back or your hamstrings are super tight. And I want you to keep your legs really active. So you're squeezing your shin sort of in towards the midline as if you're trying to slide them together. Gently lifting those kneecaps to engage the quads without pushing the knees back. And then notice if you can shift a little bit of weight forward in your feet so there's not as much pressure in the knees, right? We want our hips over the ankles. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. If you're in the fold, halfway lift again. Let's walk our hands back towards the right foot, turning all 10 toes forward, and then heel toe that right foot out towards the right. From here, we're going to come into a lizard lunge. So you're going to just stay here on the hands, or you can take your forearms down if you're like, really confident with this pose, but you don't have to. You can also stack your blocks and take your forearms onto your blocks. And then let's all go ahead and lower that back knee down. Good. You can untuck the back toes. Just keep pressing your toenails down so that back foot is active. Or you can keep the toes tucked under. Just breathe into the front of the left hip, back of the right. Option 1 is going to be to stay exactly as you are. Option 2, you can lift up to those right fingertips. Hug your back knee, or back heel rather, into your glute, your left glute, and then reach back with your left hand to grab a hold. So taking your right hand onto a block will lift you up even more, and that's going to really help you reach back to grab that foot. And if you still can't grab the foot, just don't worry about it. If you do have it, we really want to squeeze our feet, our right heel back towards that left knee rather. Good. Lifting up through the pelvic floor, squeezing those inner thighs towards one another. Just breathe into that back quad, hip flexor area. Take one more breath in. Breath out. And slowly release. So the back toes will come under. Ground your hands. Lift your back knee and step your right foot back. Go ahead and come right back into a down dog. Take a couple breaths just to create some length again. So externally rotate through the shoulders, root through your fingertips, lengthen through the side body. Okay. Lift your left leg up. Bend your left knee, make a couple big circles with that left knee. Just bringing some movement into the hip joint again. And change your direction. Noticing your range of motion today. And next inhale, just stretch your leg all the way out. And step it forward outside your hand, outside your left hand. Come right to the fingertips or to your blocks again. So ankle under knee on that left side. Firm up your right leg so your right hip's not falling down. And then with a breath in, keep that nice flat back. Maybe straighten through the front leg. Lift your hips up. And then bend your knee. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale, bend. Lift your heart a little bit. Exhale, straighten. One more, bend. And extend. Good, and then bend your knee. Again, you might want to just slide this left foot back just a little bit. Climb your way up towards that left thigh, or just come right up to that crescent lunge. You can take your hands to your hips. Right away, find that inner thigh hug. So we're wrapping left hip back, outer right hip forward. Squeezing an imaginary block between your legs if it would stay there. And then as you bend your right knee towards the ground, you hug your feet towards the midline, reach your right arm up, take a little side bend towards the left. So finding that nice stretch through the right side. And then come back up as you exhale. Inhale, you open. Exhale, come back up. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more. Keep lifting baby up and in, like you're giving him or her a little bit of a squeeze of a hug. Good. Okay, this time as you bend your back knee, send both arms up. And then as you exhale, we straighten through the back leg. Keep a bend in the left knee. Reach your arms back. Fire up your triceps. Lift your pinkies up. And we lean forward over the front thigh. Good. Inhale. Both arms up. Back knee down. Exhale. Straighten the back leg. Lean forward. Arms back. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Keep pulling your left hip back, pressing into that left heel. Squeeze your scapulas together. Inhale. Exhale. Nice. This time, inhale, arms up. We open up into our goddess squat. There we go. I'm going to turn my body around to face you. So again, heels in, toes out. This time, bend your arms and squeeze your shoulder blades together, allowing those hips to again just settle in, right? And then again, really squeeze your knees sort of back behind you. So you're squeezing your outer glutes to make that happen. Relax your face. Good. Breathe well. Soften through the tops of your shoulders. If things get really challenging for you, you can start to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth like you're blowing a whistle. Good. And just stay here. Notice what kind of thoughts sort of show up for you when you're uncomfortable. So the more you can learn about yourself when you're uncomfortable, and the more prepared you can be for your labor journey, because you'll just know your tendencies, right? So see if you can lean in, right? Instead of avoiding the sensation, can you shift your attention? Can you take one more breath, followed by one more breath? Good. Maybe melt a little bit deeper. Keep your heart high. Keep pulling baby up. Good, like you're giving him or her a hug. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Stay with me for 3. Relax your face. Maybe lean in even more for 2. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. And then inhale. Arms up. Toes point forward. Interlace your hands behind your back. This time lift your heart up nice and high. And as you exhale, go ahead and take a forward fold. So if your hands don't feel good bound behind you, feel free to let them go. Otherwise, you'll keep pulling your hands away from your back. So you really get that nice opening through the chest. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then slowly release your hands. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine. And just begin to start to bend your knees one at a time again. So hips shift to one side and then the other. If you're wanting to take this a little bit deeper and your sacrum feels okay with it, you can. We'll start with the right side. If you can, point those right toes out. Take your hips down towards the floor and lift your left toes up. If that really doesn't feel good for you, please don't do it. And then just keep working your way from one side to the other. Wherever you are, we want active feet. We want active feet to protect the knees. Let's go ahead and walk our hands back around that left foot. Switch my legs. And we're going to point all of our toes forward again. Walk that left foot out towards the left side of the mat. Again, we can stay here on the hands. We can lower the forearms down, maybe to blocks, maybe to the mat. And then when you're ready, squeeze those feet towards one another as you slowly lower your back knee down. Just hang out here for a moment, saying hello to the front right hip. Back left. And make your way up to your fingertips on that left hand. If you want to take the quad stretch, you'll pull your right heel towards your glute. Reach back with your right hand and grab a hold. Let's keep squeezing that left inner thigh towards the left shoulder. So there's some activation going on in the legs. We're not just sort of collapsing into this. We never want to do that in general, but especially when we're pregnant. Keep the heart high. Breathe into that right quad, hip flexor area. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. And slowly release. Take those right toes down. Plant your hands, lift your back knee, and step your left leg back. Find your plank pose. Let's go ahead and shift our toes forward. Our hips forward, and lower the knees down. So you're in a modified plank. Lift baby in and up. Press the ground away and then pull your heart forward. Take one little baby chaturanga push-up. So you can bend your elbows 1 inch if you want, or you can go down further. And then just press it all the way back. Find your child's pose. So hips to heels. Maybe take a block underneath your forehead. Or you can stack your wrists on top, or your fists on top of each other, and rest your head on your fists. Take a couple big breaths into the back of your hips, back of your rib cage. Allowing your breath to just slow down. And slowly come back up to your hands and just press yourself up into a kneeling position. So we're just going to sit on the ankles for a moment, the tops of your feet. You can take your fingertips behind you and lean back. And then from here, maybe your knees will pick up off of the floor. If you have to yank them, don't do that. Just sort of lean back as you are. This is already a pretty big ankle stretch. Okay, and then we're going to release this, lean forward. Lean into your hands for a moment, lifting the hips off of your feet. Roll out your ankles, both directions. And then tuck your toes under and sit back down onto your heels. Good, and you can just inch your knees forward if you want a little bit more of a stretch in the sole of your feet. If this still feels good, you can interlace your hands, reach them up overhead. Get long through your side body, so really pressing up through the heels of your hands. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and release. Take your hands down. Let's go ahead and untuck the toes. Take your legs out in front of you. And we'll come into a Baddha Konasana. So your feet are going to come together to touch. Knees are nice and wide like a butterfly pose. And then from here, we're going to weave our right forearm underneath. I'm wearing all black, so I realize it's probably hard to see. Right forearm is going to come underneath that right calf and just wrap around the front of the foot. And you're going to lean into that right elbow. Take your left hand to your left thigh and press the left thigh away from you, leaning back a little bit. Can you look up at the ceiling? It's almost as if you're going to tip over backwards, but then you realize you're holding on. You have your right forearm underneath that right shin. So you can just push your right leg down into that right forearm, and you're not going to go anywhere. But can you rotate your left ribs open towards the ceiling a little bit? Maybe straightening through your left arm. So you should feel a really big stretch through that left side waist. And just breathe well. Pressing the left thigh away from you, leaning into that right elbow. Good. And then slowly come back through center. And we're just going to switch sides right away. So left forearm will weave underneath your left shin. And take your right hand to your right thigh. press that right thigh away from you as you lean back slightly. And maybe straightening through that right arm if possible. Gaze up, letting your head even drop back a little bit. Full breath in, full breath out. And then make your way back up through center. Now, if you have space, you can weave that right forearm under as well and pull your chest forward. A lot of us with the bigger bellies don't have that much room. So you can just come upright, take those elbows to the inner thighs, and just gently pitch forward as you press your elbows down into your legs. Okay, just give yourself one more deep breath here. Good, and then slowly lift yourself up. Take your hands behind you, widen your feet a little bit more like hip distance or mat distance apart. Just start to let your knees fall from side to side. And I forgot my props for Shavasana, but I do see a pillow, so I'm just gonna grab that real quick. So, if you have a block or two or a bolster, you'll take one block, pretend this big pillow is my block, put it at the back of your bolster, and then put your bolster, your pillows just down on top of it. So you're at like a slight angle. If you don't have blocks at home, but you do have two big pillows like this also works great. And then you're just gonna take your legs out long today. Bring the pillows right up to your hips, and then slowly recline. So we want your head, my pillows are a little bit short. We want your head supported, right? Your back long, basically just end up with head and shoulders above your hips in some sort of supported way. You can also do the same with just two blocks. If you don't have pillows, one block would go kind of underneath your bra strap at a lower level, the lowest level, and then the other block will sort of support your head. And then just invite your entire body to soften here. So as much as we have to train for strength and stamina, not only for labor, but beyond, we also have to really practice softening. Right? We hardly ever practice that kind of work. So mentally, emotionally, and physically, we have to practice and allow softening to occur. So just witness yourself here. Doing a brief body scan, starting at the top of your head. Can you just relax your scalp? The creases in your forehead, your eye sockets, your cheeks. Allow your mouth to slightly open and remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Completely relaxing your jaw. Let the backs of your shoulders get even heavier into your support. Notice the weight in the back of your hands as you soften the front of your hands. Relax your lower belly, your pelvic floor. Notice the weight in your thighs and the back of your calves. Let your ankles just naturally roll out. Softening through the soles of your feet and your toes. And relax your breath. Letting go of any control. And allow your body to just breathe naturally. Continue to scan your body for a couple more moments. Just noticing when unnecessary holding or tension sneaks in. And once again, just choosing to soften, to release, and to let go. And ever so gently allow your breath to deepen once again. Letting it be really gradual and slow. And let that ripple of your breath bring movement back into your toes and your fingers, your facial muscles. And gently turn your head from side to side. With an inhale, take your arms all the way up overhead. And then slowly just bend your knees. And just pick up your butt, shift it over towards the right and roll towards your left side. And just stay here for a moment. And then really gently you can roll forward, press into your hands to bring yourself up into a seated position, keeping your eyes nice and closed. And take your hands into your heart center or hands to your belly. And just give yourself a nice, sincere thank you for showing up today. And just stick that message of trust, right? Trusting those who have done this before and trusting just yourself, and that all of your natural instincts will kick in. So any fears about the unknown, right? Let yourself really be comforted just by the fact that no one else really knew what they were doing either. And they still say it's worth it. And also you will naturally know what to do. Even if that seems impossible in this moment, just trust that you will know, and you will figure it out if you don't know. And let's choose to go throughout the rest of this day and this whole week with so much love and ease and grace. Namaste. Mwah.